What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Corey, and today we've got an interesting project. So this is a 1997 Yamaha Warrior 350, and I picked this guy up yesterday for 1,200 bucks. So the guy I got it from, he had purchased it the day before that in non-running condition. He threw a little Chinese carb on it here, and he said that the thing fired right up. It ran pretty good, and then he turned around and sold it to me. So my goal is to see how much profit we can make in the shortest amount of time and really get this thing kind of brought back to life. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to stay tuned to the end. I'll show you the full process, and at the end we'll reveal how much money we actually made, and we'll take this thing for a test drive as well. So the reason why I bought this thing is, although he put a Chinese carb on there, it also came with the original Mikuni carb and the original title. So those two things right there, to me, actually makes this thing much more valuable. And I think once we get that original carb fixed up, thrown back on here, and we polish this thing up and make these plastics look brand new, I think at the end of this we can actually make around $2,000, which would be about $700 to $800 profit for me in just a matter of days. So starting off, I want to show you guys a couple things that the machine's going to need. That carburetor is definitely not tuned at all because it idles pretty high, and it doesn't idle down once you rev it up. But this front brake master cylinder is seized up in there and doesn't function at all, so we'll definitely buy a new one of that. If we pop open the seat here, it has a brand new battery that he installed yesterday. It comes with the original toolkit, and our air box lid here actually has been cut open. So I'm gonna purchase a new one of those, and also I'm just gonna go ahead and replace the air filter inside. And then overall, besides that, we're gonna try to make this thing cosmetically look nicer. We're gonna try to pressure wash and clean up these plastics, try to get all this darker material off of here. We're gonna hopefully buy a graphics kit to install on the machine and make it look more stock. And then we're gonna clean this thing up. If you look down in here around the joints and everything, it's just kind of gunked up, and I also want to grease everything up as well. So let's go ahead and hop into it. We're gonna start by pressure washing this thing and get it all cleaned up. Well guys, after that one, drenched, that was a big process. Let's take a look at this thing now after it's all cleaned up. So check this thing out now, guys. I think this thing cleaned up really well. This thing looks 1,000 times better already, and all I've done is wash the plastics. Now that we got it washed up, I want you guys to hear how this thing sounds with that Chinese carb before we dig into the original one. So turn our fuel on there. Key. So as you can tell, it doesn't really like to start cold with this thing. So it did start up. Listen to the throttle here. See how it takes a while to idle back down? We definitely are gonna take a look at that. I think this thing is gonna be a pretty simple fix, but let's go ahead and we'll dig into that original carb, get that rebuilt, and we're gonna throw that on there next. All right, so we've got our carbs here on the bench. I went ahead and removed the Chinese carb off the machine. So if you look over here, all we had to do, we removed the air box that was right here, this hose right here, and the carb sat right there. It's just 2 bolts that are removed, and then it pops right out. So let's go ahead and we're gonna dig into this carb, clean everything up on the inside and out, and whatever gaskets and new parts that we need, we're just gonna pull from the Chinese carb. So let's go ahead and pop this open, see what all we need to do to get this thing cleaned up, and then we'll reinstall this one on the bike and see how it runs. Goodness. Check that out. Let me get this light so you can see a little better. Look at all that. I think it's safe to say it probably wouldn't have ran. So we definitely need to get all that cleaned out and probably replace some parts in here, especially these gaskets. So let's keep digging into it and see what else we find. I don't know if you can see that right there, but that jet is completely clogged. That's the main jet, and it looks like that is a 145. I'll have to look and see if that's the stock size. If so, we'll go ahead and clean that one up and throw that one back in. Well guys, I'm trying to get this pilot jet out of here. I'm really struggling. You can't see down in there, but it looks like the groove in there is kind of rounded out. I lied. We did get it out, but as you can tell, it is broken on the rim there. But it looks like we're running a 42.5 for that pilot jet. We'll look that up as well. So what I'm doing here is I've actually got an old broken clutch cable that I've kind of taken apart, and I'm just taking the wire and running it through this pilot jet here, getting it all cleaned up. So now that we got both of those jets cleaned up, we're gonna remove our float and our float needle out of there as well. We'll probably grab the float needle out of the new one and swap that over. And then overall, we're just gonna throw this in the ultrasonic cleaner, get everything washed up, and then we'll put it back together and put it back on the bike. All right, so it is the next day. I just wanted to show you guys that we got our carb reinstalled back on the bike. We got our air box put back in, and I'm gonna show you a few parts that we got in as well. This is our new air filter we're gonna install. This is our new airbox lid, and it also came with some brand new screws and the bottom little cover that goes on the bottom of the box itself. Right here, we got some of these rubber inserts that the little flaps stick in so they're not kind of rattling around. And we also went ahead and got our new master brake cylinder to get the front brakes fixed. So what I really like about this air filter here is it already came pre-oiled, so we don't have to worry about that. And any of these products, if these are something that you need, I'll put a link in the description below. So definitely check those out if you have any of these same issues. But moving on, let's go ahead and install our air filter and our air box lid. So there you go, we got our new air filter put on. Let's go ahead and throw it in the air box, and then we will see how that carb runs. So we got our new lid on there. It fits on there perfectly. If you look underneath here, we got this little cover put on as well. So let's go ahead and try to fire this thing up. The jets that were in the original carb, those are stock, but I think the machine was probably running lean since they had these holes cut out of the air box, and they also had a uni filter on there. But let's go ahead and see how this thing sounds now that it's been cleaned up fully, and see if we need to tune it at all. We'll choke it. So check out this throttle response now. So as you can tell, it does come back down a lot quicker than it originally did. So I think having that OEM carb put on here really helped out with that. So now that we got that done, we only have two things left to do. We're gonna do our front brakes, get those working. And also today we got our new decals in. So let's go ahead and throw those on real quick, and then we'll do our front brakes. All right, guys, we got our graphics kit thrown on there. I think it definitely makes the machine pop and look a whole lot better than it did with just the bare plastics. So we just need to go ahead and, like I said, work on these front brakes. So let's do that. Then we'll polish it up, touch up a few things, and then we'll be ready to take this thing for its first test drive. So to start off, we're going to go in with the .3 brake fluid. We're going to go ahead and fill up the reservoir, and then we'll go down to each wheel, open the bleeder valve, and we'll use the pump to cycle all the new brake fluid through. Okay, well, apparently my pump is not working, so we're just going to do it the old-fashioned way. So now that we got this bled, as you can tell, when we roll it, press our brake, it stops. So those are now functional. So we're ready to go ahead and take this thing on the first official test drive. When we come back, I'll see you guys at the land, and then we'll get this thing posted and ready for sale. All right, guys, it is the next day. We're getting ready to take this thing for a test drive, and I just want you guys to see the final product. I think this thing turned out really nice. Those decals really make this thing pop, and looking at the pictures from what it looked like previously, I think that it didn't turn out too bad at all. So we're gonna go ahead and hop on this thing, see how it handles, and then my brother-in-law is gonna ride it just a little bit as well and check it out. And once we do that, we'll go ahead and post this thing for sale and see how much profit we can make. We'll go ahead and do a cold start on this guy. Brother-in-law's riding the XR in the background. Let's hop on this thing and see how she does.
got a clutch, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does have a clutch.
What?
Here, you just pull it in and start it back up. Yeah, hit your start button. Yeah, it has a clutch.
That's the clutch?
Yeah, it's like a dirt bike.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Yeah. It rides really good, guys. I can't complain. It's a lot of fun too. Kick. Well, guys, I would say that this has been a success. This thing is running and driving great now. So what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and post this thing for sale. So stay tuned. All right, so we are back. It is a few days later. I went ahead and posted the machine for sale, and I posted it a little high because I knew I would have people negotiate with me. But we definitely had a lot of interest in it. We had several low ballers, and we all know how that goes. But I'm meeting a guy. He seems very serious. He's driving over 45 minutes to check this thing out. So we'll be back in just a minute, and hopefully we'll have this thing sold. All right, guys, we just got it sold. There it goes right there. Guy just picked it up from me. So let's get back to the house, and we will see exactly how much profit we made, and I'll give you guys a breakdown. Well, guys, we're officially ready to go over how much profit we made on this machine. So starting out, if you remember at the beginning, I told you guys that we spent $1,200 on the Yamaha itself. With all parts that were ordered and installed, we spent just over $100. It was like 101. So we'll just go ahead and say that was 100. So right now we're $1,300 all in on this machine. And just within a matter of 3 or 4 days, we were able to get this sold. And yesterday it sold for $2,200. So that's a $900 profit for us in just a matter of days. And I don't know about you guys, but $900 goes a long way. So I'm very, very pleased with that. I think we did really well, and I think the machine turned out great. And just to follow up on that, I've got some scripture that I'd like to share that pertains to this. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 17 and 18. It says, "You may say to yourself, my power and my own ability have gained this wealth for me. But remember that the Lord God gives you the power to gain wealth in order to confirm his covenant." So in this story, Moses is talking to the Israelites, and the Israelites were just now getting out of the desert after wandering for 40 years, and they're going to the promised land. And Moses is warning the Israelites to not forget where their wealth came from. Ultimately, all this comes from God. I have the ability every single day to be able to come out here, make this content for you guys to enjoy, and sometimes at the end of it, we're able to walk away with some money in our pockets that I can provide for my family. So I'm very, very blessed, and I'm blessed to be able to share this experience with you guys. So if you like this kind of content and you like these fix and flips, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. We've definitely got a lot more videos coming up soon. Our previous XR video that we've done, the XR 400, I've got a second part 2 coming out here soon. So be sure to stay tuned for that, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.